jumped out of his truck, then started shooting at deputies who returned fire. Authorities say Lopez was armed with
Salute to the eight people watching right now.
stolen from a home in Leon County.
Well, yeah, it is
Can y'all hear
tragic,
me?
Frank, that he ended up right here in our city, in our county. He is accused of killing a family of five today in Centerville, Texas. So right there tells you just exactly how dangerous he is. He was in prison for murder. So he's serving a life sentence already. So he didn't want to go back to prison.
The neighbor's front yard was the scene of the gunfight, was not at home when this happened last night, we're told. Residents here say that they're glad that this manhunt has come to an end. But sadly, it was too late for several people. I'm here in Jordanton. That's it for us. I'm going to send things over to Michelle Choi, who's in Centerville in Leon County. Michelle.
So we got this motherfucking coward. That's crazy, Texas, man. Prayers for Texas. I don't wish nothing on. As much as I disagree with Texas politics, I, I think what Texas deserves right now is a prayer because they're going through a lot. They had an inmate while nine kids. Was it nine kids? It was 19 kids that got killed in that school. So they're having shootings. They having a guy that went to a cabin and literally just killed five family members. Took their life. Before doing that, he escaped. He had like 2 weeks on the run. No, he wasn't with his with the CO like that white dude that the CO shot herself. He was Dolo, but he was a very dangerous man. Like this is not like those type of situation that you're like, oh, I'm happy that the guy escaped. It's like, no, get him. Can you guys get him? No, I don't worry about my fridge. Can you guys get him? Get him now. Get him.
Who caused a massive manhunt in Texas is dead.
Gonzalo Lopez killed in a shootout with deputies in Atascosa County last night. That search began 3 weeks ago when Lopez escaped a prison transport bus. Then yesterday, authorities believe that he broke into a home in Centerville and killed a family before stealing their truck and driving more than 200 miles to Jordanton, where he was then spotted by officers and killed last night.
That's where 10 Spot reporter Lisa Tellez joins us live this morning with the latest on the investigation there. Listen.
Good morning, Sarah and Barry. So right now, this investigation is ongoing, but the scene is no longer active. We just watched as crews cleared away, but I wanted to give you a look at where they were concentrated on. You can see behind those trees, that's where law enforcement officers were posted up. That is the site where Lopez crashed the truck and began shooting at officers. Now, officers had seen him driving on Highway 16 about 6 miles north of Poteet. Now, this comes after the Atascosa County Sheriff's Office had heard that he may have been in the San Antonio area. Deputies with ACSO started following Lopez without him knowing. And by the time he got into Jordanton police had spiked all 4 of his tires, flattening them. The Atascosa County Sheriff's Office says that he started shooting out of the window before turning into a residential street, which is where we are right now. Then Lopez crashed into 2 telephone poles and a fence, then got out of the truck. That's when he began shooting at officers. The sheriff saying he heard up to 20 gunshots. 4 deputies with the Atascosa County Sheriff's Office returned fire, hitting and killing Lopez. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice tells us Lopez had been armed with an AR-15 and a pistol. Earlier Thursday, the TDCJ found 4 children and 1 adult dead in their Centerville weekend home after relatives had not heard from the family. Lopez is the prime suspect in the murder of that family. They tell us they had no connection to the family whatsoever. They had just arrived to the cabin on Thursday morning. Law enforcement says the family was from Houston and Lopez had stolen their truck, all ending here in the small town of Jordanton.
It is frightening that he ended up right here in our city, in our county. He is accused of killing a family of five today in Centerville, Texas. So right there tells you just exactly how dangerous he is. He was in prison for murder. So he's serving a life sentence already. So he didn't want to go back to prison, obviously, and we knew what kind of person he was and what kind of action he probably was going to take.
Law enforcement officers were not hurt as a result of that shootout. They tell us that investigators with the Atascosa County Sheriff's Office are working with the Texas Rangers who have taken over this investigation. Reporting from Jordanton, I'm Melissa Tejas, KENS 5.
Five individuals were murdered in a residence not far from this location. While investigators were investigating some leads that were inside the search perimeter, law enforcement agencies received a call from a concerned individual who had not heard from their relatives